What's up, you guys? Twinlesstwin here. We're playing more blue-red Murktide. We're already in a match, and this is the list we're playing. Made a couple quick updates. Just trying out different numbers with the Ragavan Tamiyo split. I think that it's nice having both. They work well in different matchups. I think Ragavan is slightly more inclined to this deck, just complementing DRC in terms of dealing damage. And I also really value the extra mana when we have 4 Preordain, 4 Expressive Iteration. But I still have been really happy with Tamiyo, and she's definitely better against decks that clog up the board. Um, so feeling very nice with that split. Now looking over to the sideboard, moved the Jaces over there. Sorry to everyone who was excited about them being main deck, but I think that just more well-rounded in the sideboard. They're going to come in versus Ketramos. They're going to come in a couple other matchups, especially when Ragavan's coming out and like Pyroclasm is coming in. So it gives you a nice, solid control sideboard plan. But game one, I feel like we can be a little bit more streamlined with the actual Murktide plan. Anyways, we already have a game queued up, so let's go ahead and get into it. And we have no lands, so that's not what you want to open up to. We're going to obviously mulligan. They kept 7. And then we're looking at a very reasonable 6, so we'll keep. I think we'll put back a Spirebluff Canal. Having this fetch land helps get Delirium for Dragon Rage, so that's nice. Arboreal Grazer, I guess also we might want to leave up Spell Pierce. No, I think the priority is just getting down the DRC versus them and resolving, getting Delirium, not resolving, getting Delirium as quickly as possible. So we'll just ship it back over. Like, they could have Splunking here, or even Amulet, plus like a bounce land, for example. So the Pierce was somewhat live, but losing out on the 3. Oh, they do have Splunking. I mean, they're also going to get Amulet off this Saga, so it's not even like the Splunking is that valuable. Um, sure, definitely I would have liked to pierce that, but c'est la vie, I guess. Definitely a strong start from the Amulet player. Explore. Something like Counterspell would really go a long way here. Just need some way to keep the Titans off the table. Oh, actually, are they just missing lands? Okay, well that is interesting. It's also possible they chose not to play the land because they already had one. Or because they have a bounce land, right? I think that's possible as well. Okay, so we can preordain. We find like a creature here. We have Delirium. Don't find a creature. Don't have Delirium. Okay, well this Bauble gives us one more look. I mean that gives us Delirium. I think I'm fine binning this. Like the Pierce already is gonna help us versus their draws. Yeah, the Pierce is already gonna help us versus their draws that aren't just casting Titan naturally, right? So see what they got on top. Summoner's Pact. We can just pierce Summoner's Pact and then they're time walked effectively. But that's assuming they don't have a Titan in hand, for example. So let's see how they handle this. How's it going, Dar City? We got some people hanging out in the Discord. How's it going? Oh, so they play an amulet. So potentially they don't have a land. They have at least Summoner's Pact plus two other cards. Summoner's Pact first. That's interesting. Are we getting baited? Do we just Spell Pierce this? Like the punish is if they have Bounce Land Titan and we can't Unholy Heat, we just lose. But it's also possible they just have the Bounce Land and then we would want to Spell Pierce this. I think overall the EV is better. That should be, yeah, there you go. Okay, so get rid of the Scalding Tarn. I assume they won't be paying for the Summoner's Pact, but maybe. Okay, I'm wrong. So they pay for the Pact. Get Prime Time. And then play a Bounce Land. Okay, well, it's definitely good that we at least. Oh, shoot. Uh-oh. Are they. Oh, they have Splunking for the last mana. You're kidding me. Yeah, we're dead. Alright. Very, very nice draw. Turn 3 for them. Post-board, I have a lot of cards that I like in this matchup. Like, I don't mind the meltdowns, with the idea being that you just subtlety or counterspell one of their titans, and then after you melt down, they're substantially set back. I don't know how I feel about Consign. Yeah, I do have one main deck already. I think actually on the play, you can shave Unholy Heat. Maybe you don't want to shave it entirely, but you could shave at least one. And shave a bolt, but the bolts aren't bad because of our Boreal Grazer. Okay, so we have a lot of cards coming. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I did a little introductory deck tech, but I talked about how I thought Ragavan might be a little bit more in line with the damage plan at least. So you have DRC chipping away. Ragavan's another nice one to chip away. Um, the mana is pretty valuable when you have Expressive Iteration, but also happy with Tameo. And Tameo is much more impressive in some matchups like Energy or that the Samwise GG combo deck that's going around, for example. Just decks that have like Bowmasters also, come up the ground, where Ragavan has to be cut. I actually think that Tameo works pretty well in those matchups, so I'm still happy to have some Tameos. Okay, I think I will sideboard like this. Maybe Tameo is actually, speaking of Tameo, probably pretty bad in this matchup. Well, I mean, I don't know. You have like subtleties and counter spells. The cards could definitely matter. They do sometimes have one copy, I think. I don't think so anymore. I mean, also Soul Guide Lantern is worth considering because of their shifting woodland loops. Maybe over Tameo. Or maybe like, 3 Consign might be a lot. It's nice to tag an Amulet or let's try like 1 Soul Guide. keep the Tamias. Yeah, and they're probably boarding down on Urza Saga's post board versus us because we have Blood Moon. So it's like, yeah, this hand is nice. Let's just start with an island. Preordain. I think we bottom both. I mean, I don't hate the second, like the land, but do we really want to top it? Is the question. I guess we could, just to secure. Also, working towards subtlety hardcast isn't a bad objective either. Alright, so we'll top one of the lands, or top the land, bottom the other card, the fawn. Okay, draw another subtlety. We'll definitely be. Hex Drinker? Wow. I'm gonna fetch a Surveil in response, but I'm kind of afraid. It is colorless to level up. We might just want to subtlety this. Subtlety, pitching, subtlety. Or, yeah, subtlety, pitching, subtlety, and then slam Murktide Regent the next turn, and then hold up counterspell the following turn. Feels like. So we can just. I guess maybe we just bin this counterspell so the Murktide's bigger. This feels fine. A 5/5, importantly, stops. This Hex Drinker is so weird. I mean, if we just had a removal spell, we don't care at all, but it does kind of threaten our plan as is. Um, they put it on the bottom. Yeah, they probably didn't even care that much. They got a pretty good deal out of that Hex Drinker, I'd say. But we're gonna get, well, actually, the upside to jamming Blood Moon now is that they might not, they might have like Beseiju or something and not be able to channel it because they only have these two lands. Murktide, obviously, playing Murktide first would be good because we shorten their clock by a turn, and honestly, we don't need to Blood Moon them this turn, but the idea of keeping them off Beseiju feels pretty appealing to me, so I think I'm just going to go for that. On the flip side, if they truly had Beseiju, would they actually have played, um, would they actually have played, what's it called? Hex Drinker. Like, holding up Beseiju might have just been the better move. So potentially we're just baiting ourselves. I think at this point I'm looking to just cycle this Soul Guide for whatever. Seems like our plan is working. Okay, Bolt is interesting. And we notably exiled the creature from our graveyard when we knew Soul Guide would cycle for an artifact in the yard, so that was pretty bad. That was a mistake. And now we drew DRC, so hopefully we don't get punished too badly by that, but holding up Fawn is going to take away Force of Vigor. Um, Again, it'd be a weird card for them to have in, but people do weird things. And just Bolt for a Surveil here. Okay, I think I like this expressive. Yeah, if we had a creature, this would just be guaranteed Delirium. I guess the clock stays the same, actually, so consign to hand lets us just exile Meltdown. Consign to hand means we have fawn up and consign for something. I guess, yeah, we could have played Meltdown for the Surveillor, right? That would have been heads up. Okay. I feel pretty good about this. I feel like Tamiyo might get a little slow on the draw. Or maybe Ragavan is actually the card at risk on the draw because they have Grazer, but if they're playing less Dryads these days, then Ragavan is... It just kind of depends on what their list is, right? If they have a bunch of Dryads, just one Dryad. So in that case, Ragavan is pretty good. If they had multiple, and then maybe Sideboard, I mean, they brought in a Hex Drinker, they might have a couple random creatures in. So maybe we want this Bolt back over the Tamiyo. We can do that. I believe in that. Okay, let's do this. I wouldn't have minded one of them being a Bolt just so that we could ensure Ragavan pushes through Grazer, but we're not too far from Delirium. We have land, artifact, sorcery, so... I think... Alright, they keep their 6. Play Shifting Woodland and pass. I mean, I think we're just always playing the Ragavan here, so... Let's bobble. Okay, see Beseiju. Then we can bobble them again to get another card. Fallen's not bad, potentially. Grazer. Okay. Interesting. Okay, Mazuva copying Steam Vents. And then choosing not to play another land, so they're choosing to hold the Beseiju. Shows the fear. Oh gosh. Just Arboreal. I assume they're not going to be very happy about drawing that Arboreal either, though. Ooh, nice. Okay, and now... Yeah, Bolt was kind of... Not perfect, but... You know, it works well enough with the way this draw has played out, because now we'll have Delirium and we'll be able to Unholy Heat the second Grazer just to keep our Ragavan getting into the red zone. Oh! We just exiled the Arboreal Grazer. Okay. Well, that was... I realized that right after I did it. I was like, Okay, let's think this. How do you feel about this land? Probably don't need to top a land. I wouldn't mind drawing a land, but I don't feel the need to top one. That could have been a situation where we don't attack with Ragavan. I don't know. The treasure is really valuable, but if they didn't play any land there, to me that kind of tips me off that they're a very land light hand. They're prioritizing holding the Boseiju for a potential Blood Moon, but okay. Yeah, with the shifting woodland in play, I definitely don't hate the Soul Guide. I'm not sure what role the Consign to Memory would play. I guess potentially taking away an amulet, yeah. Okay, I'm convinced we can keep both. The Consign plus Unholy Heat is also just like neutralizes one Titan, so with two Unholy Heats in hand already, having the Consign feels pretty reasonable. No, you can't Consign Boseiju. Okay, I think I'm gonna counter this. Guess I'm just trying to figure out how I want to counter it, because Fawn also feels like a reasonable option here. It almost feels like the best option for the reasons I stated of just like Consign pairs so well with the Unholy Heat. So I'm not sure that. Yeah, no, countering that does seem good still to me. I think I'll subtlety any creature here just to increase my clock. I might even end step the subtlety if I have to, even with no target. There's no shame in a 3/3 flash flying for 4. Oh man, ouch. Yeah, I guess Dismember is. It's also a reason to flash the subtlety. Make sure we have a clock still while they're just doing nothing. Yeah, one's Beseiju in hand. We don't. The Grazer was exiled by our Ragavan. It feels like they're really weighing their options on if they can afford to play the Beseiju or not and lose to a Blood Moon. They decide not to. That makes me think we should play the subtlety. They're so far away from casting their creatures. We do have Consign plus Unholy Heat for the first one. Ooh, okay. Now we can just put them on a single clock, like a single turn clock after this. They could have a Otawara to channel or something to buy them time, but otherwise, I think they're pretty much out of moves. Yeah. Even if they somehow cheated and put a One Ring in onto the stack here, we would have the consign. So okay, Dryad, that's fine. Notably, Dryad does not have reach. Okay. We could consign their Lotus Field trigger just to give them some hope. Summoner's Pact. I don't know what's going on, but I think they're memeing. Yeah, their last card is something that doesn't. Yeah. Okay. Sweet. Pick up the first one. Okay, sounds good. Thanks. I'll grab some water while we find our second opponent. Sorry for the delay. We're back. Okay, Hira. So that tips me off that it's likely a control deck. I think versus a control deck, this hand is just fine. You don't mind having extra land drops versus a control deck. The Bolt is obviously not great, but Express Iteration is good. Preordain is just fine. Ooh, they're going down to 5. I mean, that's both. I feel good about that. I also wonder if maybe I'm misjudged and they're some type of combo deck. I'll top the Bauble. We can just Bauble trick ourselves and play slow. That is, I think, pretty important for Delirium as well, if we find a DRC. Okay, Flooded Strand, so... I mean, Bauble them also could get us some info, potentially. I assume they're going to fetch Surveil here. We already have the Surveil in our hand, so we can't do that, but maybe we'll get some info on what's going on in their deck. Yeah, I mean, it does truly seem like it might just be blue-white control. They top. And play another Meticulous Archive. They're being very meticulous here. Bin Solitude. Alright, so now I feel pretty confident that they're playing blue-white control. How do I feel about this Murktide Regent? The Murktide Regent is definitely at its worst versus blue-white control. A lot of their removal kills it, but the fact that they just bin to Solitude makes me think they might actually already have one. I guess we'll probably play this iteration. I think the Murktide's still fine. It's pretty likely to just die, but I don't think it's poor. Like the first Murktide, if we already had a Murktide, I'd definitely be shuffling that one away. But the first Murktide, when we already are pretty close to a decent sized graveyard, seems fine. Alright, Bolt is definitely not what we wanted to draw. That I would have shuffled away. Oh, they have Spell Snare? That is tough. Okay, we can get the Surveil down. DRC. Yeah, I think I like DRC here. It's kind of awkward if they start jamming proactive stuff like Teferi or okay, they're just stuck on 2 lands, so that's nice. I was gonna say if they start jamming proactive stuff like Teferi or Narset, we're gonna fall maybe a little behind, but do we want to just slam Murktide here? I mean, my thought is there's a decent chance they have Counterspell. I think I'll just wait. This is March. Hmm. We can bolt for a Surveil here. Okay, Preordain. Probably just goes to the graveyard. If the plan is to play Murktide, I'd probably just like to have either like sync up or find Counterspell naturally. Maybe that was wrong, right? Because I have the 5th land here. I could have preordained, found Counterspell. Okay, yeah, I think I regret that. Finding Counterspell would be really nice there. Okay. Start with this Tamiyo, test the waters. Alright, they do bite with a Counterspell. We'll play our 8/8. Or it's a 7/7. Okay, so do we want to bolt face then to... Well, 7, he just puts them to 14. If we hit them twice, or 7 twice is 14. So if we hit them twice, we could just bolt them for lethal. So there's no reason to actually bolt them here. It doesn't change the clock, so to speak. And if they just are going to Solitude us anyways, which I theorize they might be, or for example, if they have Teferi in hand and they draw land and then Teferi us, like those would be pretty poor interactions. What is this? Orim's Chant, we cannot attack. That's acceptable. We still get to draw a card. Okay, we've discovered what's going on in their hand, which is lots of Orim's Chants. Okay, that seems like a good card to say no, back to your hand. I mean, I don't think they actually have Solitude at this point, to be clear. I think they just were digging for the third land. Actually, maybe I'll take this to hand and just dash the Ragavan. It creates more mystery as to what I found, right? Ooh, finding a counterspell off of their hit isn't going to do much. Alright, so they're going to get to Teferi, bounce our Murktide. It's going to resolve. They bounce the Murktide, we dash Ragavan, we probably bolt the Teferi. Bauble. I guess we could check what they have on top. Is that actually... I feel like the more valuable thing is still checking what we have on top, because we have this fetch. Okay, so it's a land, so we can just get rid of that now. I guess I don't know if I want to shock. I'm just going to shock. I don't want to get burned by needing to cast a lot of spells. Okay, start by attacking them. There could be like a prismatic ending in their deck, which we would just use to clean the Teferi up and save our bolt. Like, this bolt is actually pretty valuable, and I think we might just not target the Teferi at all. The punish is essentially if we draw any counter. So yeah, the punish is if we draw a counter, but the upside is Ragavan plus Bolt is 5 damage and they're at 5 life. So I think that that is going to outweigh the punish. We'll see if it backfires. Fawn. Okay, so definitely a little bit punished for making that decision. Or they just have another Teferi, and then... Wow, Day's Undoing. That's interesting. We draw another Bolt. Okay. We'll throw them off by attacking the Teferi, and then double bolting upkeep with double counterspell up. There's no way they can stop it. Maybe they don't Solitude us here. This is definitely a content creator play more than anything, but uh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I think we can at least preordain. Ooh, found a Pierce. Very nice. Okay, Jace, great in this matchup. Stern Scolding is nice to stop their subtleties. Um, what cards are not nice in this matchup? Potentially these bolts. Kind of like everything else we have going on here. I don't mind shaving a Murktide in the matchup, but I don't think you absolutely have to if your sideboarding just maps pretty cleanly, which it does here. I also don't mind going below 3 Unholy Heat. I could see going down to 2. Maybe Consign is another way to protect your Murktide from a Evoke Solitude, so that seems fine. Blood Moon, historically, is somewhat playable versus their deck. Depends on the list, but you can often lock them off of lots of their plays. Snare is a question mark to me. They have Counterspell, though I wouldn't be surprised if they board it out a lot. Oh, now we have 2 consigns in? I don't really think we want 2 consigns. So, okay, let's bring in these Blood Moons. Excuse me. Alright, this hand looks nice. Oh, drawing the Thundering Falls is really sad. Counterspell. Okay. I don't really feel the need to rush out my cantrips here. I think I'd rather get max value from each of them, so I'm just gonna pass. I also think I might want to fetch islands with these because we have Blood Moon, so I'll hold on to them for now. Okay, I like this Murktide. And now I want to preordain again to continue setting myself up. Ooh, okay, I like both of these as well. I guess I'm kind of sad that I'll not be able to play Murktide with Stern Scolding up into Jace. So I think that then the answer is I should just fawn pitching the Stern Scolding. If they 2-for-1 themselves to Subtlety or Murktide, that's fine. Otherwise we have Subtlety up. And we can slam Jace on turn 4. Okay, I guess this Pierce is kind of losing. Isn't going to have a great relevant moment. And I think I'll Subtlety to protect this Murktide if they evoke a Solitude. Because even getting them to counterspell a Subtlety, for example, would be a win. Is it just Supreme Verdict? It is Supreme Verdict. Okay. Well, guess I guess it's time to see how they can deal with Jace the Mind Sculptor. So I started brainstorming. I have a hypothesis, and the answer is not very well. It's kind of our hammer card versus them. So yeah, DRC Preordain will clear the top of our deck. Don't need Murktide, just more counters seems great to me. Brainstorm again. Another DRC is actually kind of nice. And the Ragavan, they're all looking real nice here. I guess if I had to let one go, for now, it'll be float the Ragavan on top, get this DRC down. This puts a lot of pressure on them, so activate Gyre Reach. Yeah, it's a move. We'll just get rid of the Ragavan. It's fine. They ditch Solitude. That makes me think they probably found another Supreme Verdict. Or they just have multiple Solitudes? I'm not sure. I think I'm fine just drawing here. I know we're drawing a land, but we can brainstorm. I wonder if we're gonna get Orum's Chanted. No, they're letting us attack. And then they're flashing in Solitude. We'll subtlety it. Like, they already used one Supreme Verdict, which makes me more confident making a play like this. And also, if they do Supreme Verdict us, we just have Jace the Mind Sculptor in play and get to brainstorm again, so. Kind of making them have the Supreme Verdict, but also not really caring if they do. It's the best of both worlds there. And yeah, if they just want to fire off these 1-for-1s, that's totally fine. I'm mostly just interested in protecting my Jace. We'll kill them eventually with it. Enough brainstorms. Death by a million brainstorms. Let's just bubble them. Get info on if their top card is Supreme Verdict. It's not. Okay, I guess they get to Gyre Reach though. So they do get an extra look at Supreme Verdict. So do we want to hold back Murktide? Okay, they go for Counterspell. Okay. Just play out of Murktide. I mean, awkwardly, it doesn't kill them next turn quite yet, but I guess I'll fetch away these lands on top. I don't need to draw a land from Mishra's Bauble. Okay, sure land anyways. I mean, if they fetch, we do have lethal, so they should fetch carefully. I'm gonna counterspell this. We just are pretty much able to kill them. Okay, if they're gonna counterspell back, I guess we are fine with that. We still get to brainstorm Jace, so we're still getting value. Yeah, see, Blood Moon, very good here. Okay, they're dead anyways, but Blood Moon would have been good. They have no basic, one basic. That's two basic. Like, it locks them off of Counterspell, locks them off of Narset, locks them off of Kicked Orum's Chant. Like, there's lots of random stuff it would do. Sweet, so 2-0 in this league. I'll go grab my dinner quickly, but we'll be keep going. Well, our secret weapon in the mill matchup is Murktide Regent being in your hand, so that's good. Oh man, I was thinking about topping in case they had Archive Trap, but if they didn't have Archive Trap, it was just so bad to top there that I did bin. So I gave them an extra card, which... Uh-oh. They might surgical my Murktides here. Then we would no longer have a secret weapon. They do surgical Murktide Regent. It's a pretty smart play. Murktide is definitely the scariest card I think we have against them, so. The good news is they must have mulliganed a lot. Yeah, they mulliganed to they mulliganed to 6. I mean, they're down to 2 cards. We still have half of our deck, so we're not in horrible shape here. Them playing the Fielder Rune also makes me think maybe they don't have another land. That might be misguided, though. There's not a lot of Spell Snare targets, so I think I'd rather dash. Oh, wow. Okay. So that definitely makes me think they don't have more lands. I'm still not sure it's correct for them to make this block, but oh wow. Jace? Yep, they do have Jace. So it enters as 3, and then they can Ancestral Recall here, I assume. If they didn't want to Ancestral Recall, I'd be surprised. Yeah. Um, this is becoming an interesting game. They Surgical Counterspell. We don't have any. They probably could have waited on that, right? Like, You can surgical counterspell right before you cast something. Now we could find Force of Negation. I feel kind of bad that I'm now fetch. I guess I should have just done this earlier. I could have potentially avoided turning on Archive Trap again. I guess I'm supposed to shoot this Jace. Ooh, okay. So Fawn is really nice. And I'll bobble, cycle into it. Ooh, Tasha's on top. Especially scary. One, two. We still have a Lightning Bolt in our deck? Do we still have the Pierce also? So we have like basically, I think two really good draws. I don't think DRC. Yeah, I think I'm gonna bin DRC on the second surveil. Yeah, I'm just gonna bin these cards. Yeah, their mills are mostly just going to kill us or not. I feel like DRC wasn't changing the clock there. Okay, well we were destined to draw a Dragon Rage Channeler, so we will. I guess I hope. Yeah, now I hope they have a removal spell, basically. Oh, they're just getting a surveil in. They put Scalding Tarn into the graveyard. I don't think they have Damnation usually, so I'm just gonna play out the last DRC. I guess it seems exceedingly unlikely that they are going to have multiple removal spells here, but if they were to somehow have two removal spells, the third DRC will do a little something for us. I think Tasha's might kill us here. Though, looking at it, we still have two subtleties in our deck. That's 8. Two subtleties. Iteration is the bottom card, so that does. Oh no, we shuffled afterwards. Right? Yeah, so iteration's somewhere in our deck. Surgical Ragavan, that's exactly what we're hoping they're doing here as they face down these Dragon Rage Channelers. No. No, no, no. Oh my god. We go to 2. Wow. That was very suspenseful. Do we board in the Jaces as the anti-Tasha's tech? Do we just board nothing? Or Tamia seems very, very bad here. So that's like an easy cut for something, at least. I mean, none of these seem great on the draw. On the play, they might be better. I guess it's just probably the Jaces. They make the Tashas a bit worse. If we land a Jace, we could probably just start plussing it. Oh, Consign seems like it has to be cut as well. Maybe Soul Guide Lantern. It's like a redraw. Or Pyroclasm to deal with crabs. No, it's probably just Soul Guide Lantern. No. Bad boy. Down. Double TRC seems nice to me. It's just a great hand to race. They give you Delirium pretty much immediately for free. Okay. We'll just get this little whole fetch shock thing out of the way up front. Okay, I like the Murktide on top. We'll see if they have Archive Trap. They don't, so we're gonna get to draw this Murktide Regent. Bad boy. No. Don't take my chicken tenders. It's my chicken tender. You get your own food 3 times a day. The vets say that you need to reduce your diet. Should I do that? Oh wow, double Murktide. Ooh, do they have Counterspell? They might have Counterspell. Usually I think they have Drown in the lock, which wouldn't work here, but if they have Counterspell, it does. They didn't have counterspell. Maybe they thought they had something else. Look at this rascal. No. You silly boy. Yeah, it's a good boy. Yes, mill me. Fill my graveyard to the brim so I can Murktide Regent you. Oh, they have Drown on the lock. That's sad. It's okay. I feel pretty good about our spot here, all things considered. So 6. Yeah, we got lethal here. This heat gives us delirium back, worst case. But also they're just gonna mill us more. I guess potentially they could have ensnaring bridge. We'd still get through for 6. We can also use the Soul Guide Lantern to grow our Murktide, so if they like kill Fatal Push a DRC or something, we still have lethal. Glimpse. Visions. Oh no. Now they should not be able to kill Murktide. Maybe they have like Set Adrift or Murderous Cut as a potential out, but otherwise we should be in good shape. Another Glimpse. Alright, and we win the match. Take it down. Alright guys, I'm going to pause there for a little break, but I will see you in part 2 of this video to see if we can get the 5-0. Thanks for watching.